Now we're rolling, Damage Plan MMA podcast. I'm Jason, and we're back with a new co-host, Blake Aurelian, tonight because Zack is off selling cars, and because he got a big boy job. So I'm bringing in the heavy guns tonight. Blake Aurelian, what's up, Blake?
Doing very well, man. Thank you so much for having me. We got Mina as well. This is very special having you here, Mina.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Mina, this is your second time on the podcast now?
Yeah. The first time was my first MMA fight last year. So yeah, this is a good one.
that guy right there was calling that fight, if I remember right.
No, I wasn't.
It wasn't you?
It was not me, no.
Oh, damn it. I could have swore that was you.
Maybe it was. No.
It was for Mountain Force.
Yeah, it was for Mountain Force.
It was for Mountain Force. March, where was it? Was it in Logan?
It was in Logan.
It was it 23?
March 23? Or
I'm trying to remember. I should have my notes already done.
Maybe it wasn't you. Maybe it was. I could have swore it was you.
Well, I knocked her out. So
you knocked her out.
15 seconds.
Quick, and you're back again. Now you're back again, fighting for the Fierce Challenger Series on October 22nd.
Yep.
How you feeling?
I actually feel really good. Like I'm ready. I feel better than I've ever felt before a fight. I'm just ready. I'm just ready to go. So I got a week from Saturday, but at this point I feel good. I feel good about training physically, mentally, emotionally. I think I'm just in a really good place. Yeah.
Oh, that's great. I think between your first and second fight, there was a 4-month gap. This time it's a 15-month gap. And so I'm wondering, what has it been like training a little bit more, getting a little bit more prepared for this fight compared to your second fight?
Well, I don't know. I mean, I don't know how much you know about my last MMA fight. That was in July last year. I fought a really great opponent. But in the process, I went all 3 rounds with her, but I fractured both of my orbitals, my nose, and cut my eye. And so I had a lot to recover from. But it just, I don't know. I've taken time to focus on my jujitsu. I've done a lot of tournaments, which actually, I mean, not only did it help, honestly, it helped me a lot, not just in a physical place, just to focus on obviously like my grappling, but mentally just to be actively competing as much as I have in this past year. It's helped me kind of just work through some like mental blocks that I got, to be honest, from fighting last year. And, I don't know, it's kind of just really prepared me. So, yeah, I went through a lot last year. I mean, as far as that last fight goes, and I learned a lot from it too. When it comes to MMA, it just gave me a lot more respect for the sport of MMA. I feel like had I had more confidence in my grappling, I could have taken that fight to a different place. But I mean, I fought a really great striker or boxer really, and I couldn't outbox a boxer. Because that wasn't necessarily like my greatest strength. But I don't know. I'm a great striker, but
if I'm not mistaken, she's a pro boxer, right?
Yeah, she has had a lot of fights. I don't know her record, their full record, but I know she's had a lot of boxing fights, like tons of experience. So I don't want to disrespect myself and say that I'm not good. I'm not a good striker. I actually believe in my striking as well. So yeah, I don't want to disrespect myself by saying, but she was a great striker with a lot of experience, a lot of fight experience. Comes from a really great gym, and I guess I wasn't ready yet for that. I had not yet experienced someone at her level yet. But I'm proud of myself. I'm proud of what I was able to accomplish. She tried to knock me out with everything she had, and I mean, she did break my face, but I lasted 3 rounds and I walked out of there very proud of myself. I held my head up high. And if anything, I walked away from that fight with a lot of confidence. Strangely, a lot of self-confidence, I guess. When you see yourself go through something hard and withstand a lot of adversity, I mean, that's just something that nobody can give that kind of confidence to you. And that was something that was really empowering just for my mental state, but also just my spirit. So yeah, I had a lot of adversity to overcome just from that. I was, as far as just healing goes, I literally was in the ER for 7 hours after that fight,
Wow.
just literally laying in darkness, having to think through everything, like reflecting on everything with a broken face, you know, all the fears start to set in. I'd already had like concussions before, but there's all those fears and doubts that start to set in and you wonder like, can I keep going? Is this something that I can do anymore? And I was able to have my come to Jesus moment that night in the ER, laying in darkness by myself, and I knew that I wasn't done. And so that night, that moment that I had with myself is what has carried me through this year. It is what gave me the drive to, focus on my grappling, to face a lot more fears going into these competitions, just get more experience, just overall. And I don't know, I feel really good.
Yeah, you've absolutely, I mean, in just 2 fights, you have had 2 sides of the spectrum. You have had what they call in MMA the highest of highs and the lowest of lows, from a 15-second
Yes.
knockout to getting your face broken. I mean, 2 completely
Yeah.
different outcomes, but you learned so much in both of them. What was it
Yeah.
like going from one super high point to a super low point in just a matter of 4 months?
No, it was man, fighting is so vulnerable. That's the thing, like, I that 15-second knockout was like I felt like I was in a movie. Jason, you were there for that.
I
I
was
mean, you
there.
got to
Yeah, of course I
you like
was.
yeah, like the energy there. I mean, just to be with, my like Wasatch family. I can't like describe what that moment felt like. And for me, up until that point, I'd been training for maybe like 6, 7 years. And there's so many trials that had led up to that moment. That was a huge personal triumph for me. It felt like all the adversity that I'd overcome came down to those 15 seconds. I finally was able to just like knock it out of the park. And that was a huge high. But that last fight where I had my face broken in, that was also a personal triumph for me. That was one where, I'm down in Arizona. I just have Casey, my one coach in my corner, and a few people sitting in the crowd. Everybody else in that stadium was like they were all there for the other girl. They were all there for Leslie. Um Nobody cared about me. Honestly, I was just like a stepping stone for her. Really is what that fight was set up to be.
Yeah.
And I like I said, I don't there's something I did make a decision though right before I went into that fight. I'd had like a kickboxing match, a fight like right in between those two MMA fights.
I
I
remember
lost
that.
that one too. Yeah. Man, honestly, more than any fight, like that's the one that haunts me because I feel like mentally I just didn't give my I didn't I was missing something there. Like
It
something like I was missing a part of myself when I went into that fight. I feel like I was also just a stepping stone for her. I feel like I disrespected myself in that fight. I think I gave almost too much respect to her, and
yeah.
in the process, I feel like I lost myself in that fight.
She was a tough fight though too. She had a lot. If I'm not mistaken, she
Yeah,
was 7-2 or something in,
yeah,
in
she was
MMA.
really
In MMA,
experienced.
a lot of
Yeah, she
experience,
was really
but
experienced,
it was
but
close. I didn't
it
some
was
one judge give
close.
it to you? Wasn't it split?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
Either way, like I walked out of there and I'd made a decision from that moment, like that I would never allow that to happen again. I would never walk away from a fight feeling that way. I felt awful. I hated it. I literally did. I feel like I disrespected myself. And so going into this fight, that last MMA fight with Leslie, like I had made some like decisions with myself. Like I knew I was gonna finish. I was gonna be proud of myself when I walked out of there. Like that was how I knew I was gonna finish that fight. I had no idea. I couldn't have guessed that it was gonna go the way that it did. But I cut my eye in the first round. I felt her jabs. I had no idea like that my orbitals were fractured. I don't know at what point in the fight that they actually, fractured, but when I had like double vision in that first round, like going out and like the cut was there. And I remember Casey, my coach, he's like, "Are you good?" He's like, "You ready to go back in?" And I was like, "I guess so." Like, I don't know. Like, as I felt like at that moment, it felt like he believed in me. And so it just gave me that extra confidence to just remember, like, I was going to finish what I started. And that was that. I went all 3 rounds. Um, and like I said, it was weird. Like when I walked back to my corner, I felt this surge of energy just go through my whole body. And maybe, I don't know, like, and I had never felt so empowered. Really, truly. I felt so empowered, just standing like on my own 2 feet in that stadium by myself. I did not care what anyone thought of me at that moment, bleeding, face broken in. I walked out of there with my head held high. And so that was just a personal triumph for me. And like I said, when you go through something really hard, that just gives you and you that I don't know, it just made me realize like, man, like I can do hard things. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know, I can withstand storms. And I was able to also see myself do something that I didn't know that I could do, you know? Had my face cut, had my face broken, and I was still able to show up. And then it was the aftermath, like being in the hospital. Like the only time I cried was like thinking about how it would affect like my family. Like I felt sad that my family had to see me that
Yeah.
way. But like I said, I had a come to Jesus moment with myself. Literally, I was in that hospital room. It was dark. You know, my brain like felt like it was gonna explode. And then the nurse comes in and she's like, "Are you done fighting now?" She's like, "Are you done?" And it was crazy. Like after I'd been sitting there and all those doubts and all those fears, I literally started laughing at her. And I like kind of surprised myself. And she's like, "I guess you're not done." And I was like, "I guess I'm not done." And so
I love it.
I've like held on to that. Like my first jujitsu tournament, I actually did have a little bit of PTSD. It was weird. I'd never felt like so much anxiety before going into that first jujitsu tournament this year. And I almost didn't know if I'd be able to compete. I genuinely felt like the walls were closing in on me, and it was just jujitsu.
Yeah.
But that was the first competition that I'd had since my MMA fight, and so I think just a lot of nerves and stuff came up, and fears and doubts and like monsters I was creating in my head. Um, but I don't know. I kept like facing my fears and challenging myself, and again, I just kind of held on to that moment in the hospital, and I just knew I wasn't done. And now here I am, and I just feel so good. Like I'm so excited. I feel like a new person.
Nice. Go ahead, Blake.
Yeah, I want to get to your opponent in just a little bit. I've got one more question specifically about your jiu-jitsu, which you've mentioned a couple of times here. You actually just entered an IBJJF
Yeah.
tournament a couple of months ago, I believe.
Yeah.
How did that
Yeah.
go? And do you think that has also built your confidence in your ground game, considering how much you've been competing in the grappling department?
I definitely have a lot more confidence. I actually recently got my blue belt this year too, which
Oh,
was really,
congratulations.
really
Congratulations on
exciting.
that.
Yeah, so I got it actually in that on my first IBJJF tournament. And then yeah, I've just been competing a ton. To be honest, like I I mean, I'm an open book. I don't really care. Like I these IBJJF tournaments have been super awesome in the fact that like it levels up the competition, right? And so I feel like when you're doing in these IBJJF tournaments, I'm going against other females who are like who competitors really. You know, they're and they compete a lot. And so it's just helped me get more comfortable in that realm. I mean, do I think I'm like the best jujitsu like practitioner out there? No. I still feel like I'm, you know, learning. I don't know, I still feel like a beginner, to be honest. At the same time, I'm scrappy and I do feel so much more comfortable on the ground. And I do believe I have the ability now to like take a fight where I need to. I believe I have the ability to take the fight to the ground if I have to. And I feel confident that I can do what I need to do. Whereas before, like going into my previous MMA fights, I was not comfortable. I had no confidence there. And so that's why looking back at that fight with Leslie, like that's where I gained my respect for MMA because I realized I just try to, you know, box a boxer when if I had really like focused on my grappling more and had more confidence, that is the time when I should have taken that fight to the
Yeah.
ground, right? Maybe I could have saved some damage to my face, but oh well, live and learn.
So now you have, you know, another, not a completely new skill set, but a much more refined skill set going into your third
Yeah.
fight. What do you know about your opponent, and what do you think you're going to have to do in order to get your hand raised next Saturday?
I know that she is a striker. I believe she actually just won her last fight with a rear naked choke. So I mean, obviously she's got a ground game. I honestly like, I mean, that's just what I know. I respect everyone. I respect everyone I fight in the sense I understand that in a fight anything can happen. So I guess this is what I'll say. I'm not scared. And that's not even a disrespect to her. I just believe in myself. I believe in like my training. I believe that I am well-rounded. And I'm just gonna do what I do best. Like I'm prepared to take the fight wherever it needs to go. That's what I have to say. Yeah.
Was this is this a new opponent? Was this a short notice opponent?
This was a short notice opponent. So
Yeah.
within like the last week, they changed my opponent up on me like 3 or 4 times.
Yeah.
And so that's the funny thing about fighting too. At first, the first time they changed the opponent on me, you know, I looked her up. I started getting all nervous and stuff. And then they changed it again. And then they changed it again. And I was talking to my friend and she said it best. She's like, Mina, it's just another face. And I thought that was perfect. Like that was what I needed to remember is I know it sounds so cliche, but I started fighting because really I was always fighting like to face my fears, to challenge myself, you know, to overcome like my doubts.
Yeah.
And I think the biggest thing this fight camp has taught me, honestly, is to believe in myself and to believe that I'm a badass. And and I believe that. Like at the end of the day, you know, skill is I value skill, and that's why I love martial arts so much, and I pride myself so much on the art, right? And like technique. And um something is weirdly, I think in the process of loving the art so much, it's almost like I lost some of the best parts of myself, which really come down to grit and heart. And that is something that I am just so excited to showcase in this next fight. Like I said, I'm prepared to do whatever it takes to win. And so for me, that's also just showcasing like I'm prepared to get gritty if I have to. I'm prepared to do whatever it takes. And so I'm ready to fight.
Let's go.
That's why I feel good. I'm
Let's
not
go.
scared. Yeah.
Are there
I'm excited.
Do you have any teammates on this card?
I do have one teammate, Ty. It'll be his kickboxing debut. It'll
Oh,
be his
nice.
first fight. So yeah, I'm excited for him.
You would
And
think I
then
would.
we've got
I
sorry.
was gonna say I should know this.
That's okay. That's okay. But I know I'm excited. You know, Wasatch, I feel like for a long time we haven't we've got a lot of up and coming fighters. We're starting to like put our name out there. And so you're gonna be seeing a lot more people from Wasatch on these cards. I'm just so excited. We've got a good team that we're building here. And you're gonna be seeing a lot more people from our gym coming up. So I'm really excited just to be representing.
That's one of the things I did want to ask you about is, as you know, this is one of my last questions is just there are a lot of names coming out of Wasatch right now. Our last Challenger series, one of the big ones was Jackson DeGray, who put on an incredible performance. And I know he's looking to take a fight pretty soon here once again too. And so that all being said, who are some of those names that we might not know or the MMA community might not know that you're really looking forward to be competing over the next couple of months here?
Oh my gosh, we have so many coming up, but Jackson is one of them. Super excited. He'll be November 5th. We have Kylie Quigley. She is a kickboxer, Muay Thai girl, a beautiful striker. So look out for her. Nate. Oh my gosh, Nate Rain, I believe. Man, I'm so bad with last names. Nate Reinhardt. There we go.
Yeah.
I just call him Nate. But he's also going to be fighting on a card with Kylie coming up for Steelfest. Oh man, Michael Guzman. He just fought recently. He's an incredible striker. Oh man, I can just keep naming him off. I have a friend of mine, KJ. He just fought on a boxing card and just nailed it. Had his first boxing, just blew it out of the water. Man, I could go on. We have a lot of people just like looking out for. I think we've just got some steam rolling and everyone's just riding the train right now.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So I just have one last question in this fight. Any predictions on your fight next Saturday?
Any predictions?
Yeah. I gotta ask. It's part of the job.
I mean,
it's a rule of the podcast.
Yeah, it's just a rule.
I mean, I know what I want to do. I don't like to ever jinx myself though. Like I said, I respect all my opponents, but I intend to finish this fight. That's all I'm going to say.
I love it.
What is your prediction? Do you have a prediction, Jason? Are you allowed?
We can't say anything. We're the broadcast team. We are not allowed to say a single thing.
I know, that's what I figured.
I'll message you. I'll message you what I think.
There we go.
Well, no, I'll you know what? I'll tell you after because I don't want to jinx it either. How about that?
Okay.
That's my rule.
That's the thing though. That's one thing. I always respect like fighters who have so much confidence and they say this and this and that. But that's one thing that I can't bring myself to do that yet. What I will say, and like this is more than I've ever said on this fight, is that, like I said, I'm prepared to take this fight wherever I have to go. I'm so excited. And I don't think I've ever genuinely felt like this much excitement before a fight, like 1 week out. And so
you can see it. You can hear it in your voice. You can see it. I think it's freaking great.
I've been grinding really, really hard. I've been like feeling, I worked so hard in these past few weeks. I feel like I've been in a fight every single day. And so you get to a point where you're just ready to go. Like there's nothing, I don't feel like there's anything that she's going to show me that I haven't seen before, haven't faced, And so I'm excited.
Are there any sponsors, anybody you want to give a shout out to before we let you get out of here?
Honestly, this is on a personal level. I just want to thank my team at Wasatch Combat Sports, Casey and Reese, my coaches. They have gone above and beyond to just help me and to get me to where I'm at right now. And then honestly, my mom and my dad, I get emotional, but it's hard for them to see me fight.
Yeah.
This is not what they ever expected or thought like my life would be, but nonetheless, they've never stopped me and they like continue to support me, even though it's really hard for them. And so everyone that I have to like thank at this time is just the people that I hold close, my friends, my family. And one inspiration I have, one of my best friends, her son, Zion, he's been battling cancer for the past year. In fact, we found out about his diagnosis maybe like a week or two after I had fought. And he's also just been, him and his whole family have just been a huge inspiration to me and have been a huge part of like why I've been able to overcome some of the adversity and just to continue fighting because I see them fighting so much.
Yeah.
And so I don't know. I'm surrounded by a lot of people who have battles going on in their lives. And those are the people right now that they are the reason why I am here today. And they have supported and loved me every step of the way. And so what I do next week isn't just for me. Like I genuinely feel like I'm going in there with an army of people behind me. And I just really want to do them proud. Like I want to make them proud. So.
All right, Let's go. October 22nd, Mountain View High School, Orem, Utah. If you haven't got your tickets yet, hit up Mina. Mina, do you still have I'm assuming you still have some tickets left?
Yes, I'm selling tickets. So yeah, hit me up.
Get with Mina, get your tickets, come out and support local MMA. Mina, thank you very much for joining us again. I'm super excited to call this fight. Yes, that's all I'll say for right now. I'm super excited.
I'll give you a show.
Hey, I just hope that I don't make any blunders on the mic like I did for Joel's fight. It's hard when you're calling a fight for a friend, it's hard.
I know. It's okay, Jason. It's okay.
I may cry a little bit, but
if people are like needing a reason to buy tickets, Mountain View, like that high school is so compact. We blow the roof off the place. These fights are so good that we absolutely blow the roof off of the place. And Mina, I know your fight is going to bring that. I know so many others that are going to bring that as we're doing the research on these fighters. This card is absolutely stacked. So make sure to hit up Mina. She's got tickets for you, and it's going to be quite a night next Saturday night.
Let's go. I'm excited.
Let's go. We'll see you next Saturday. Mina, thanks again for joining us.
Thank you.